Premier League match day 12 is around the corner, and in this video I am going to give you guys my predictions for all the 10 games that are going to be taking place on Premier League match day 12. But before my predictions, when you take a look at the Premier League table, Arsenal is seated at the top of the table, 4 points clear from Manchester City, and the question is, who is going to win the Premier League at the end of the season? Because at this point in time, it is very difficult. When you take a look at the top of the table, Chelsea is also up there, Sunderland is up there, Tottenham is up there, Liverpool, Manchester United, Crystal Palace, Aston Villa, all of these clubs are fast approaching. And it is very, very difficult predicting how the end of the Premier League season is going to look like. But for now, let us take a look at my 10 predictions for all the 10 Premier League games that are going to be taking place on match day 12. Remember, we are not yet done with the international break, but this weekend we are going to watch the Premier League. The Premier League football is going to be back on our screens. Can Manchester United win the Premier League this season? Let us be honest here, right? I think if Manchester United win the Premier League, it is going to be the biggest surprise of the season. In fact, of football, that is going to be the biggest surprise that have ever existed in the history of football. And even Manchester United fans are going to be surprised seeing Manchester United winning the Premier League ahead of Liverpool, ahead of Man City, ahead of Arsenal, ahead of Chelsea, and many other teams. But now, let us take a look at my 10 predictions. When you take a look at all the fixtures that are going to be taking place on match day 12, the first game is going to be that of Burnley versus Chelsea. Now, when you take a look at this game, right, Burnley coming into this game at home, they know that they have to stay away from the relegation zone, right? They have to stay away from that relegation zone because this is already match day 12. That is just to let you know that after match day 12, just 26 games are going to be left for the season to come to an end, and they know how important these games are to them. Getting a point game after game is going to save a season, but this game against Chelsea is going to be one not to miss. When you take a look at the Chelsea team, Willian Estevao, I don't know why Enzo Maresca is not starting this boy, but I'm just praying that this game, Willian Estevao is going to start the game because it is going to be an entertaining game. Just take a look at Burnley. Take a look at how they started the season. Liverpool won their game against Burnley. They struggled before winning the game. Manchester United won their game against Burnley. They struggled before winning the game. Same for Arsenal, right? Even Man City. That is just to tell you how good Burnley is. And in this game, I am expecting Chelsea to grab at least a point in this game. Why? Simply because when you take a look at the Premier League table, right, the Premier League table is beginning to give Chelsea life, hopes, and happiness. And they cannot afford to drop again. They are occupying the third spot of the Premier League table after Man City, ahead of Sunderland. And they know if they win this game, they are the ones to open the Premier League match day 12. If they win the game, they are going to move top ahead of Man City, and they have to win the game. So I think Chelsea is going to grab at least a point in this game. So my predictions for this game is I am going to double chance Chelsea against Burnley. Now the second game is going to be that of Bournemouth versus West Ham. Since January, West Ham have won 2 games back to back. 2 games for their first time before the international break. Remember, last weekend before the international break, they won their game against Newcastle, and Bournemouth also suffered a defeat that same weekend. That's just to tell you the season is getting complicated for Bournemouth, and the season is looking somehow good for West Ham. But who is going to win this game then at the end of the day? I think the game is going to be a difficult one. I think the game is going to be very, very tough. But at the end of the day, right, I think both teams are going to score in this game. That is my predictions for this game between Bournemouth and West Ham. I think both teams are going to score in this game. Now we have Brighton versus Brentford. Who is going to win this game? Now, when you take a look at these two teams, right, the way they started off the season, all of them are almost at the same area. And this game is going to be a 50-50 game. Brighton won Man City this season. Brentford won Liverpool this season. Meaning these two teams won at least one game against the top 6 giants in the league. So that is just to tell you this game is going to be a 50-50 game. But if I'm to predict the game, I am also going to give both teams to score in this game. Fulham versus Sunderland. See, I have to be honest with you. Fulham is playing this game at home. But with the way Sunderland is playing, this Sunderland is a team that was promoted from the Championship and to the Premier League. And do you know how much they spend during the summer? They want to win everything. How are you going to explain to someone that after March the 11th, Sunderland is seated ahead of Chelsea, ahead of Man United, ahead of Liverpool, ahead of New... In fact, Sunderland is seated ahead of 17 teams in the Premier League. 16 teams, sorry, in the Premier League. That is just to tell you how good they are. So this game, I think both teams are also going to score in this game. And I'm going to give Sunderland over 1.5 goals in this game. That is my predictions for this game between Fulham and Sunderland, right? Liverpool versus Nottingham Forest. This is going to be a game not to miss, right? This game is going to be very, very interesting. Now, these two teams are all competing in Europe. Liverpool is competing in the UEFA Champions League. Nottingham Forest is competing in the Europa League. And when you take a look at the start of the season, Nottingham Forest not looking good. Liverpool not looking good. Remember, before the international break, Liverpool suffered a defeat to Man City. Are they going to bounce back in this game against Nottingham Forest? They're going to be playing this game at Anfield in front of their fans. So everybody is going to be behind them. And I think at the end of the day, Liverpool is going to win this game. So if I'm to predict this game, I'm going to give Liverpool a straight win in this game. Wolverhampton versus Crystal Palace. Now, when you take a look at the Premier League table, top 10, Crystal Palace is there. Bottom 10, Wolverhampton is there. Wolverhampton is seated at the bottom spot of the Premier League table. If the season was to end at this point in time, Wolverhampton would have been relegated without any question. So this game is going to be a tough one. But at the end of the day, I think Crystal Palace is going to grab a point in this game. So I'm going to double chance Crystal Palace in this game. Wolverhampton have not won a single game this season. And the last game they played against Chelsea, suffered a defeat again. But this game is going to be a tough one. It's going to be a tough one. But I'm going to double chance Crystal Palace in this game. Now, we have Newcastle versus Man City. It's going to be the final game that's going to be taking place on Saturday. Who is going to win this game then? One thing I hate about this Newcastle is that when they play against smaller teams, you don't see their best. But when they meet their big teams, big opponents, take a look at the game they played against Liverpool. Premier League Matchday 2. Even with one man less, they scored 2 goals against Liverpool. Take a look at the game they played against Arsenal. They scored Arsenal a goal in that game, and the game almost ended 1-1 before Gabriel delivered Arsenal. Take a look at the game of Newcastle against FC Barcelona, UEFA Champions League Match 1, where the game ended 2-1 in favor of FC Barcelona. Newcastle were looking good. That's just to tell you, when Newcastle meet bigger teams, they play well. But when they meet smaller teams, just take a look at the game this weekend, where they suffered a defeat to West Ham. What happened? What really went wrong? What really went wrong for Newcastle? Because I don't understand. But at the end of the day, right, with the way Manchester City is, they're coming back. They're looking like a team that wants to win the Premier League. When you even take a look at the Premier League table, they're just 4 points behind Arsenal. 4 points behind Arsenal. That is just to tell you, they are already hungry. The boys are looking hungry. The season they had last year is something that they need to forget very fast. So this game is going to be a very tough one. And I'm not going to tell you that Newcastle is going to win the game or Man City is going to win the game. It is very difficult to go and succeed at St. James's Park. Newcastle is playing this game at home with a home advantage. But at the end of the day, I'm going to give Manchester City over 1.5 goals in this game. I'm not going to give City a win or a draw. I'm going to give them over 1.5 goals in this game. And I have a strong feeling that Erling Haaland is going to score in this game because he does not like to play against bigger opponents. So whenever he jams big opponents like that, the boy is good. And Jeremy Doku, the guys of Firefield, Foden, Umar Mamush, all Man City players are gradually returning back to their best, and we all cannot wait for their return. Now, Leeds United versus Aston Villa, right? I have to be honest with you. I'm going to give Aston Villa a straight win in this game without any doubt, because when you take a look at the start of the season, they started like a team that were not ready for the season. But out of nowhere, they started playing well. I know they suffered a defeat to Liverpool, right? They suffered a defeat to Liverpool and they won Manchester City. That is just to tell you how good they are. So I think in this game against Leeds United, they want to bounce back. They want to get back to winning ways. And at the end of the day, I think Aston Villa is going to win this game against Leeds United. So I'm going to give them a straight win. Arsenal versus Tottenham. This is going to be the game of the weekend. This game is going to be played on Sunday, and it is going to be the game of the weekend. Who is going to win the game there? Now, take a look at the Premier League table. Arsenal 4 points ahead of Man City, right? And in case of a mistake, Man City can close up that gap. Remember, Arsenal is going to play this game after Man City's game. And if Man City wins the game, they'll be 1 point behind Arsenal ahead of this game, and the pressure is going to be on Arsenal. But Arsenal is looking good, but their players also are picking injuries day in, day out. Just during the international break against Arsenal, Gabriel was sent off with an injury, a groin injury. We don't know how long he is going to take, right? I pray that he returns soon. Calafiori was also injured. We don't know the players that are going to play this game. We don't even know if Benjamin Sesko is going to play this game. We don't even know all the players, because for now, no one can predict tomorrow. There is one international game to play again. So we don't know what is going to happen. Let us just wait and see how the game is going to look like. And when you take a look at this Tottenham team also, the game they played against Manchester United before the international break, it was a game where they could have won easily, right? Because Man United scored, they came and equalized from nowhere. Richarlison scored the goal where we all thought was a winning goal. But they gave up. They gave up. And if there are two players in this Tottenham team that I would like to watch is Van der Ven and Romero, the two centre backs. They are too good. They are too good playing together. So this game is going to be a tough game for Arsenal and a tough game for Tottenham. But Arsenal is playing this game at the Emirates. They are playing this game at home with the home advantage. And I think with the set pieces, ideas that they have generated in recent games, I think they are going to dominate this game. But who is going to win the game then? I'm not going to give the winner in this game. I'm going to give Arsenal to score over 1.5, no, over 1 goal in this game. I'll give Arsenal to score over 1 goal in this game, and Arsenal not to concede over 2 goals in this game. Remember, before the international break, Arsenal suffered against Sunderland, where the game ended 2-2. They dropped points. So this game is going to be a tough one. And if I'm to double chance someone, let me give my predictions for this game. I'm going to give Arsenal a double chance. Either they win or they draw. But I have a feeling they're going to score and they're not going to concede more than 2 goals in this game. Then on Monday, which is going to be the final Premier League game of Matchday 12, is going to be that of Man United versus Everton. Man United versus Everton at Old Trafford. Now, who is going to win this game? For the first time under Ruben Amorim, Manchester United have gone for 5 games unbeaten. And Senel Amens have played how many games? 5 games. He have not suffered a single defeat, right? And I don't think it is Everton that is going to stop them. But when you take a look at how these two teams have been competing this season, you'll notice that it is not also going to be easy for Man United or easy for Everton. So it is going to be a tough one. At the end of the day, my predictions for this game is going to be for both teams to score. Guys, I've come to the end of the video, and if this is the first time you are coming across my YouTube channel, I am going to appreciate if you can hit the thumb up to the video. If you did not like the video, you subscribe if you are still to subscribe, and most importantly, you give me your predictions for some of the games that are going to be taking place on Matchday 12 in the Premier League. I know you cannot predict all the 10 games, but if you can predict all the 10 games, it is good. Let me know your predictions down in the comment section, right, for the 10 games. If you can predict, and if you cannot predict the 10 games, predict the ones you can predict. Tell me what you think about my own predictions, and see you guys until my next video.